And welcome to Education, Leadership, and Beyond, Surviving and Thriving. My name is Andrew Murata, host of the program, and it is show number 114. Welcome aboard, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in today. It's the day after the Super Bowl, and when I scheduled this with my big-time guest today, I didn't realize it was the day after the Super Bowl. I know everyone's probably moving a little bit slower today. I know I stayed up a little bit too late and certainly ate a little bit too much. But it is show number 114. I would like to welcome everyone in. We are live on Facebook. We are going to iTunes. We are going to Voice Ed Radio Canada. And again, an announcement. Very proud to be part of the Education Podcast Network. Check out their great programming on educationpodcastnetwork.com. And a shout out to Chris Nessie for bringing me in and welcoming in the podcast. So very, very fortunate and grateful to be part of that group. Today's sponsor is me. That's right. I am getting this word out. Happy to be doing a book study with Sainies. You don't have to be a member of Sainies to take part, but they are running it through there. And here are the dates here in April. We start April 2nd, April 20th, April 28th, May 4th, and May 12th. That's in the afternoon around 4:30. Excited to do this, right? Get a chance to talk with leaders around the country, sharing concepts in my book there. And I'm excited about that. So you can register at sainies.org and Google that. It's going to be the Andrew Murata Surviving and Thriving online workshop, and that's for all school leaders and all principals, and excited to get that going. I'm also excited to meet Matt Hodge today. Matt and I became friends at the National Principals Conference last year in Boston. How about that? You're mixing Alabama and New England there, and that was an interesting combination, but we're excited to talk to Matt today. He is a high school principal in Alabama, and he is a great dude, and we connected instantly. We were on the PLN together and a lot of sharing and growing and learning together. So I'm excited to meet Matt. If you're watching live, certainly leave us a question or a comment, and we'll try to get you on the program. So let's get started. I mentioned to open the show, it is the day after the Super Bowl, and I know most of the country watches, right? Us as school leaders, we still got to get up early and still have school. But most of the country watches that. And what are the leadership lessons in that Super Bowl? There was so many things happening, right? There's so much hype. It's so big, right? Putting that all together. So what are some of the leadership lessons? And I was kind of just thinking about that as the game was going on. And number one is resiliency, right? Those Kansas City Chiefs, they won the game. They were down in each of the 3 playoff games leading up to the Super Bowl, including the Super Bowl. And double-digit points, right? Being down double-digit points. We're going to talk to Matt about school culture. That could bring your climate, your culture down. And those coaches, those players, they stayed up. They stayed upbeat. Certainly that leader, Patrick Mahomes, leading the way with positiveness. So positiveness, they are resilient. Number 2, as school leaders, right, we're going to have to make the tough calls. If you watched that game, you saw there was a play near the end. Did the guy from Kansas City get the ball over the goal line before his foot hit the end zone, the end line? And it was so close, and the call on the field was a touchdown. And those referees had to make a really hard call. There wasn't overwhelming evidence to overturn it, so they didn't, right? And those are decisions that the referees had to make, and those are decisions that we have to make as school officials, right? Those hard decisions where someone's going to be angry. The 49er fans and team, they were angry. It didn't go their way, but us as school leaders, sometimes we have to make those calls. Number 3, work your tail off, right? Be a hard worker. We tell our kids that. We tell our teachers that. They expect that from us. Whether it was the halftime show, the players, the referees, all of those people work their tails off to get to that spot, right? And certainly the halftime show. Those ladies were outstanding. A little risque at time. My young daughters were watching, and it was kind of like, but we won't let that take away from their hard work and certainly that spotlight. And lastly, what a great event. So many people coming to work together to put on an amazing event, right? And think about how many times we do that at school, whether it's an orientation, whether it's a prom, whether it's a graduation, people working together to make those events work and be successful for that school and the community. So those were some leadership lessons that I took away from the Super Bowl. I hope you enjoyed it. And I know I'll be trying to get to bed a little bit earlier tonight because I stayed up a little bit later. We were having some technical difficulties. We are going to welcome in Matt Hodge from Alabama. And there he is live on the line. Matt, welcome to Education, Leadership, and Beyond. Hold on. Let's bring you on here. We're having some sound difficulties, but we're going to get Matt. Try that again, Matt. No, you got to talk. Yeah, you got to talk into that phone. I know you got a loud personality, but I need you into the phone.
All right, we got you. I can hear you and I can see.
Okay. Well, this is Matt Hodge, everyone. And again, Matt, welcome. Matt, what were some of the takeaways that you had from the game yesterday? You heard my opening segment. What were some leadership things that you took away from the game?
Well, I'll honestly tell you, I'm not an NFL guy, and I did not watch the game. I've been reading about it a little bit here and there. My coaches talk about it. But the one thing that stands the most is Kansas City's head coach. All his past endeavors, this is his first championship win.
Yeah. Yes.
So you go with the resiliency, you go with the multiple programs, you go with his ability to lead, and he knows the knowledge of the sport. Now this just happens to be the team that he takes that victory to. I think it was like 221 career wins, and now he has a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, good for you for doing something different. And that was one of the things I wanted to ask you about Alabama, that there's no pro sports, but the football team's almost professional on their own. Matt, why don't you introduce yourself to our listening audience here and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, my name is Matt Hodge. I'm the principal of W.S. Neal High School in Escambia County, Alabama. I'm an educator of 28 years. I spent 23 years in the classroom. I was a coach, a bus driver. I did the landscape for multiple schools. I've worn all the hats. I was given the opportunity to get into education leadership 5 years ago. I'll talk about Michael Turner at Vincent Valley High School was my mentor. He gave me the nod, and from that, it's been a uphill struggle, but a downhill ride.
I like how you said that. And you'll continue on those hills for sure. If you are watching live, give me a note. How does that sound? And we're trying to work through that. Matt's got his tech guy feverishly working through it. Matt, you talked about, again, 5 years in school leadership, and that one of your strengths is culture building, right? How do you as a school leader build culture in your school?
Well, I'm going to tell you, when I come into anything, it's 100%. So when I was given the opportunity to come to W.S. Neal and lead this school and these kids and this community, my 23 years as classroom teacher, my 3 years as an AP, watching other leaders, from my father to everybody, I just grabbed everything I've immersed myself in and I've thrown it at them. And it is literally, we walk the hall, I fit the classrooms, they know my feelings, they can tell if I'm happy. I don't really show any other signs but happy, but it is 100% in.
Awesome. Matt, are you on speakerphone?
Yeah, unfortunately, because of my hearing issues, I can't. Let me try.
Yeah, see what?
Is that better?
Oh, that's much better. That's much better. I'm going to turn that down. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, well, that's much.
I also read lips very well.
Well, I won't say anything bad here on the program. And Matt, again, going back to your school, right? The culture. So what are some things that you do specifically to help build that culture? I know I'm going to ask you about, Positive Sign Thursdays. That's one thing we see publicly that you're doing that's raising the positivity in your school and with your relationships with your students. But what are some other things that you do that you feel that helps build that culture in your school?
Well, the neat thing is, again, I'm not from Escambia County. I didn't even know where this place was when I got the call from the superintendent asking if I wanted to come interview. But when I started this school, the community members came to me to tell me about the love they have for Neal, how they went there, their parents went there, their kids go here, and it's just a driving force in the community. So I reached into some archives and I found the alma mater that the kids didn't know. But we sing that bad boy every morning on the announcements, and I have different students come in and sing it. And we have it from the traditional classic church sound to the students. I had a kid come in and he asked me if he could sing it in throat. And I was like, what in the world is that? And that's that hard, and it was fantastic, man. I've got video monitors on my wall where I can see all the classrooms, and I can watch the kids singing the alma mater as we sing it. Well, when he got on, everyone took their phone out and turned the lights on. It was like a rock concert.
Wow.
So the first 10 minutes when school starts, we are immersed in Neal. We are Neal. We are all about this school. So we sing the alma mater after the Pledge of Allegiance. I'll do a little bit of talk, whether it be about, the math team or the FFA or the sports team the night before, whether it was a victory or a loss. But they hear me talk about Neal and to have a great day. Last three things I say to them is, we always strive for achievement, respect, and success. Teachers, every student, every day, whatever it takes. If you need me, you'll see me in the hall. Go Big Blue.
That is fantastic, man. So the kids, you guys sing the alma mater every day in addition to the Pledge of Allegiance?
Every day.
Wow. That's impressive. That's impressive. Matt, let's talk a little bit about you, right? We got to know each other a little bit at the National Principals Conference. And again, the power of social media has kept us in touch. But you talk about your parents as two of your biggest mentors. Tell me about that relationship with your parents.
Oh, man, I'm blessed. My father and mother are still with us and in great shape. My father was a career Marine, 30 years in the Marine Corps. So, I traveled every 2 years, 3 years. My mother right there by his side, always supportive of me. And as a matter of fact, what my dad always tells me, if it hadn't been for her, I might not have made it through my teenage years, because she was the yin of his yang. And as conservative as he was in certain areas, she kind of let me sow my oats and have my long hair, and you'll see the surfboard behind me. And I was just kind of that kid. But my dad has always guided me in the idea of just do what's right. Know your name, know who you represent, and know people are always watching. And with that just general mentality, that goes into everything from my students to, when they wear their Neal shirts, I'm like, remember who you represent when you're out in this town. You're my kid. Remember, you're representing me. I won't ever disrespect you. Don't disrespect me. Don't disrespect your school. So having that loving, nurturing family that I have, it set me to be successful. I hear horror stories of people's home lives, and I don't relate. My mom cooked the dinner every night. We sat at the table. We had conversation about the day. My sister, myself, I was very fortunate and very blessed. And I hope I put forth to the kids that I've been surrounded with in my 28 years a little bit of that nurturing family that I came from.
Yeah. And what was it, Matt, that drew you back to school when you yourself did not have a great experience? You weren't a great student. You weren't top of your class. What drew you back to be a school leader?
Like I said, in a little conversation you and I had prior to, if anybody who reunites or reconnects with me from high school and they ask me what I do and I tell them I'm a principal in high school, their jaw drops. It's like, no way, not you. Because I missed school. I didn't really go to school very often. Again, that surfboard right there was my study. I think what really got me into it is the hardships of once you leave high school, you don't really know what you want to do. I knew I didn't want to go into the labor force. So I said, I'll give school a try. Everybody else was doing it, but I was very unprepared. I'm not a dumb person by far, but by goodness, I didn't know anything. And so when I was accepted into college and had to take all those pre-091 classes, 092 classes that don't count towards anything, they just give you the ability to get to the classes that will, it was humbling. And so I wanted kids to understand, don't absolutely abuse or neglect this free gift you're being given by an education. It's very important. And whether you know about it now, you'll realize it.
Yeah. And you share that story with the kids?
I share it to every kid. I'll have students come in here with discipline write-ups or just in general not really having a great day. And I'll talk about my high school day and how my junior year was the hardest 2 years of my life. And they look at me like, what are you talking about? I said, oh, yeah, I was not a great student. But I dig where you're coming from. I understand where you're coming from, but try to understand where I'm coming from as a leader to develop you as a human and as a young person. And we have great dialogue. That's the important part. I can talk to any kid, any parent, and they know I'm compassionate about them.
That's a great story and a lot to learn in there. And good for you for sharing that story. So that's powerful. Matt, in addition to your parents, your former principal that hired you as AP there, you said had a deep impact on your learning as a school leader, and that's Michael Turner. Why don't you tell me a little bit about him and how he impacted your life?
Man, I'm going to tell you right now, Michael Turner is a man among men in my eyes. Besides just my mentor, he's a very good friend. But when he gave me the nod and fought for me, because there were people in the upper offices that wanted him to go in a different direction for assistant principal. And he said, no, this is who I want. He gave me every opportunity. And whenever there was a need, whenever there was a want, he called me and said, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. And I learned probably 5 years under the 1 year I worked with him. But I mentioned to you about waxing floors. He and I were having a conversation last year about how my money situation at the school isn't the best for athletics. And my floors were in desperate need of being resurfaced. And he said, well, who are you going to get to do it? I said, I don't know. I don't know if I can afford anybody. Well, he said, I'll tell you what, why don't I come and show you how to do it? And he drove 3 hours down and showed me how to strip them, clean it, and then reapply the varnish. And the floors are immaculate looking. And so now I'm able to take that knowledge and teach my coaches how to do the floor, so we don't have to take precious monies from the students for maintenance purposes.
Wow. And you're waxing the floor. The high school principal is waxing the floor.
Absolutely.
That's impressive. That's impressive, Matt. And that's something we don't see up here in New York. I'll sweep a floor. I'll pick something up, but waxing the floor, that's impressive. And how long did you work with Michael Turner then?
I worked for him for 1 year, and that was the system that I was a teacher in for 23 years. And then I got an opportunity at another system to become the athletic director and assistant principal. So to me, it was just another ability to add to my resume. So I took that.
Yeah.
Like I said, any opportunity. I'm all about opportunity.
And did you feel stretched in that role as AP and AD? I know that's a challenging role.
It was a very good school, so there wasn't a ton of discipline issues. The athletic side was really nice. I've done some coaching on the side, but I'd never seen the standards and the needs that are by Alabama High School Athletic Association. I didn't know anything about that, so it was just another opportunity to learn. The stretch of AP and AD, no, it went hand in hand, and it was really nice to be able to do it because I'm still involved with athletics here at my school. My athletic director and I sit down and we talk, and it's nice to know what he's talking about.
Yeah. Matt, let's try this since we're on the phone and we have technical difficulties. Now my picture went away. I'm not sure what happened there. See if you can mute your mic on the computer now. See what that sounds like, because I'm getting a little feedback. Yeah. How'd that work out? Something's beeping there, isn't it?
I don't know what that is.
Well,
How about now?
Yeah. Oh, that's better. Yeah, that's better. And we'll keep rolling then. Matt, I mentioned that we met at the National Principals Conference. That's a long way to go for Alabama. Someone that's new, in the principal role. How did you find that, and what did you say? Hey, let me get up there to New England, to Boston, to see about learning something there.
That's exactly what I went to. I have to give big shout out to my superintendent, John Knott. He took a big chance on me, and I come to him with some just outlandish things. And when I came to him and said, "Look, I want to go to this conference," he said no. I said, "Okay." And then about a week later, I sent him an email. I said, "Hey, I really want to go to this conference, National Principal Conference. There's going to be people there that can give me a ton of ideas that I can bring back down here. Remember, when you hired me, you said you want the best for Neil. So how about that education to get the best?" He said no. About another month and a half of just constantly in his ear, he finally said, "Fine, go." And it was one of the best things he was able to give me because of meeting you and others like this. I came back charged for my second year, and it's been very good.
Yeah. And what were some of your takeaways? I'm so thrilled that you chose to come to my thing there. But what were some of your takeaways that you brought back?
The biggest takeaway is the positive sign Thursday that you mentioned. I sat in you had him on your show just last one. I think 113 was Brian.
Mm-hmm.
And he was one of the guys, he and Marty were, and here's these two dynamic educators that are just above and beyond rock star. You'll use that conversation a lot, but their music is pumping. There's this jacket that I will never be able to own because they don't make something like that for really big guys. And so I'm admiring his blazer and his coat. But then they start talking about, this may sound silly, but the kids love it. And okay, well, right there caught my attention. And it's true. Every Thursday I can see kids. Now we wear uniforms down here. They wear a standard blue shirt, white shirt, yellow shirt, khaki pants across the board. But on Thursday, kids' hair is combed a little bit different. On Thursday, you can tell it hadn't been underneath a bunch of clothes, that it's the fresh shirt because it's not wrinkled. And because they want in. And it's been a great conversation piece with parents, because I've had multiple call them and say, "Hey, there's nothing wrong. I haven't seen my kid on the positive sign Thursday." And I'm like, "Well, let me make that happen." And so it's just a way to engage and get the kids even closer to me, so we can continue conversation after we take the picture. And every time I use the word, whether it be, this last one was opportunity. We were dreamers for Martin Luther King. And then the week before that is we sparkle, because but the end result is I talked to them about the word on the paper. And I was like, "What does this mean to you?" And then they say, "Well, I don't know." And then I said, no, I'm not going to take that. What do you think this means? And so we dialogue, and it's just about dialogue. And so if I can get a kid to talk, I can get a kid.
Nice. And how do you come up with the what you're putting on the sign? Where does that come from?
I've got several wonderful staff members, and then we'll talk a couple of days in advance. Hey, what do you think the word should be today? What are you working on in your classroom? Seen any struggles, anything in the news and social media that really stands out?
Yeah.
But really, it's that Thursday morning I'll get in and I pull the plug, and that's where we go with it. So it's not anything super pre-planned. There's some thought behind it, but it's just what I think will grab hold of the kids.
Yeah. Well, you guys inspire me. Our friend Brian McCann is watching now, Case High principal, and you guys inspire me. And we're actually we have a technology guy. They're going to be able to take that picture and put it on all the social medias with one click. So I'm looking forward to that as well. Matt, I found not only that conference inspire me to bring things back to my school, but it also helped me as a school leader, be better inside, right? Be better in my mind and my heart. What were some things that you took away that helped you sharpen the saw, help Matt Hodges be better as a school leader?
It all goes back to the want to better kids. Every meeting I sat in, you weren't in that meeting where you know the person giving the meeting doesn't even want to be there. It was filled with energy. From morning it started, and that, I came to your class on Saturday morning, early conference. I was in that ready to go.
Front row, baby.
It just inspired. It inspires me to just want to be better.
Yeah.
I am not sure I'm doing it right. And I'll tell anybody and everybody that. This is my year and a half. I've been doing it as the guy. But I can tell you right now, the energy I get from my students, the energy I get from my teachers, the energy I get from the community, it's right. And I need to learn a little bit more of the not so fun stuff, but bringing the community together, building that culture, getting a school back to where they believe in themselves, they feel great about it. My attendance would jump because kids actually want to be here.
Yeah.
They enjoy the place. Now, enjoy the place and they want to learn more. It's a double positive right there.
Yeah.
So when I left, and like you said, merging Alabama to New England is a different animal completely. I was on the elevator, and I'm not one of these guys who like to stare at the wall. So we're on this 34th floor of this. Everyone walks in like, hey, how y'all doing? Beautiful day. And no lie, this big guy turned around and goes, you ain't from here. And I said, actually, no, son, I'm from Alabama. And his wife said, it's not pleasant, leave him alone. I love the city, I love the food. I ate lobster in the morning, lunch, and dinner. And every day I was there. And I missed it so much. But it was a great experience. And yes, I am going to DC.
Cool.
Already.
Cool. We're going to connect again. And again, not only learning, right, not only bringing things back to our school, but able to grow our ELN. And here we are on the podcast. And so grateful for you to make the time to do that. Matt, another interesting thing that you do, you have a commute, you have a long drive, you have an interesting setup. Tell us about that and how does that affect your work, family life together? How is that for you and your family?
I'm going to tell you, the setup is this. I'm from Birmingham, Alabama, geographically dead center in Alabama. The school I work for is in Escambia County, Alabama, which is 54 miles north of Pensacola Beach. So it's a 3-hour distance between where I'm from to where I work.
Yeah.
I had put my name in that in all the Birmingham areas. I was doing very well in the interviews, was getting beat out by, people already in the system. Your typical, this is why I didn't get it. Well, I got a phone call. John Knox, who's in Escambia County, called me and said, hey, we have an opening for a principal position. Would you be interested in coming down to interview? And I was like, absolutely, where? And he told me, I was like, okay, where? Where's that? I've never done this before in my life. And he told me, I told him, 3 hours, let's do it. Yeah, I'll do this. And so I came down, and the interview evidently went fairly well, and I got the nod. And so then I had to make a decision, how is this really going to work? And, Sunday night through Friday night, I'm in Bruton, Alabama, loving life. And Friday late night, Saturday, and Sunday, I'm in Alabama with my wife and my mom and dad.
Okay. And was that a family discussion, though? Was that, hey, Dad's going to take this opportunity? Dad's going to do that? And what was that discussion like? And, they must have been upset that Dad was going to be gone for a week, right?
Well, the nice thing is, it's not necessarily the nice thing. My oldest was 25 years at the time. My daughter was in school at the time. My youngest son was in high school. Now that's what absolutely crushed me because he's a wrestler, a lacrosse player, fabulous kid. I've been with him since he was 4 wrestling. I'm his coach. I've never been there. And here's the time now. It's a year, glory year. There's a good chance I'm not going to be around. Well, I didn't get it. I made that back and forth. It beat me up a little bit, but it was well worth it. The conversation you asked about, my family is supportive of me and knows my wants to be a leader in education. They saw me in my years as a teacher where I was struggling in the classroom mentally because I really wanted something else.
Yeah.
I put my years in my master's and my CES, leadership. And I just thought this was again, a big believer in opportunity. That's my positive this past week. And so when opportunity comes, you absolutely have to take it. And so the conversation was go. There was no real discussion. It was go do it. Go if you can do what you think you can do, and we'll make it work.
Well, good for you and good for your family. You bring that energy to that new community. I mean, I know we're out a lot as principals. The good thing is, right, you get to go wherever you're staying during the week and rest and get back to it early. So it kind of gives you a clean slate during the work week.
Absolutely does. Yeah. You can fight as a principal to like spend time here with my family or do I get to this activity or man. Sunday night and Friday night, I am Neil. I am immersed in it. I am foot to toe in it. I go to everything. And I'm talking basketball, wrestling, football, band, choir. If it's happening and it has WSB on, you will see me front row.
Wow. I saw you front row. That's you were in the office that you came to. We talked a little bit about your passions. In my book, I talk about the old blue chair, right? The Kenny Chesney song, the spot that you can go to relax, the spot that you can go to dial in and plan and charge. What are some of those things for you? Riding that Harley that deepens your soul a little bit. What are some of those things that you do to help kick back a little bit, get that old blue chair?
Fun things. The beach and surfing was my thing as a young man. I could go out there and solve the world's problems, just wave, the deck come in. Then it moved into golf. I lived there, we could hit that golf course, 4 hours out there of the grass, all the games, sports, competition, changes your mindset. And then that Harley Davidson to a Harley store to buy it. And I came out with a bike. And that was my 50th birthday. That was my midlife crisis. I have loved it ever since. Yesterday, you had sent me something on the email. I didn't get social media. I got on that thing and I was out for 4 hours. And I was just whipping around, down to the Panhandle, hit Pensacola and back, and just enjoying the weather. So that's my blue chair. It really therapy, wind therapy, as we call it.
Yeah. And your mind gets thinking about school and things.
Always. This job is addictive. And when I say it's addictive, I constantly think about Neil High School. I constantly think about my 306 kids and what can do better for them than me today. I think my 20 teachers, what can I give them to make their jobs better? When I was a teacher, I wanted this and needed this. Can we get it to the school? And so it's that constant movement. Yeah, I do personal thoughts too, but I'm telling you, when I'm downtown here, it's about the school.
Good for you. And your son, Zach Hodge, is watching. What's up, Zach? Thanks for tuning in. Your pops is doing a great job, and it sounds like he's rolling with his family and his school. What would you say to someone who's considering getting into whether it's being principal or lead teacher who's looking to make this step? What would you say advice for them, Matt?
Well, if they're the lead teacher, they're already in education for the right reason. I have actually seen educators, administrators that were in it for the title and money. There's really not much money in that title. Who would want that? But if you're not in it for the right reasons, don't get in it. Don't do it. It'll be a blow-up nightmare history. But if you are in it and you are striving to lead a school, to better the school for the kids, man, jump in with both feet and do it how you think it'll work. That's been a neat thing with me. Is again, I've worked on this for a year and a half, but everything I thought of as a teacher, I could do that, or I would do it differently. Or when I was an assistant principal, I like what he said there, but what if we would have done it this way? That's how I do it. Yeah. I gauge it on what I thought and how I think will be best for the kids. So if somebody wants to get into administration, first I recommend they have at least 7 to 10 years as a teacher. I have a problem as an educator, an old educator, looking at someone who's an administrator who wants to talk for 2 years. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily make them a poor leader, don't get me wrong. But it's just, are your boots dirty. And so if you have dirty boots and you're coming to the table, come on.
Can I use that up in New York about the dirty boots? Can I use that?
Absolutely.
Matt, it is that time. I know you're looking forward to the rapid fire. That is a fan favorite. Let's get rolling to it. These are quick answers. The first one that comes up. So let's get started. Last book you read.
Last book I read was by Brian Mendler, Watch Your Mouth. Basically, non-negotiables that we've set for something.
Yeah, he runs a nice podcast as well, doesn't he?
Yeah. He's a phenomenal speaker if you ever get to watch him.
Yeah, Brian and I are going to connect. Watch Your Mouth. I like it. Last movie you saw?
Actually, it was that Adam Sandler flick, Uncut Gems. It was dark. Whew. It was not The Wedding Singer. It was not Billy Madison. It was dark.
Wow.
But it was a good movie. I liked it.
Wow. Our friend Brian McCann is going to take the dirty boots up to New England as well. He had to translate that for us. Favorite place to travel?
This is going to sound weird, but us being down north, I love to go to Cassopolis, Michigan. Cassopolis, Michigan is a very small town. It's a lake called Diamond Lake. And Diamond Lake. A good friend of mine has a house up there, and her husband invited us for the past 6-7 years. And so that's my go-to, man. It's beautiful up there.
Wow.
It's about 40 minutes north of South Bend, Indiana.
Okay. Yeah, straight north of you, right? Going straight up?
Yeah, I get 55, wrap Indianapolis, and I'm out in South Bend 2 hours after that, just about 11 hours.
Going to watch your Irish. You mentioned Brian Mendler. You on Education Leadership Beyond. I know you listen to podcasts on that long drive. What are some of the podcasts that you would recommend?
I got big into yours, and I've gone through multiple ones. My son says, Dad, you got to cool out a little bit. And so he took me to the Joe Rogan Experience. And that's quite interesting.
Okay.
The Joe Rogan Experience is quite entertaining.
Something that motivates Matt Hodge.
My motivation is kind of easy. I'm not real hard to entertain. If I see anybody enjoying themselves, that's my motivation. Yeah. And so, I didn't enjoy much of it at all. So if I'm seeing my students in the hallway, smiling, laughing, engaging, eye contact, coming up to me, shaking my hand, man, I'm thrilled. So motivation is just somebody enjoying themselves and having a good time.
That's a great answer. I like that. How about something that gets under your skin? Pet peeve.
Apathy. The inability to see what you're doing and how it's harming yourself. Kind of like when I was a kid, teenager. I'm just not able to listen to somebody that really is investigating and wants to help you and just kind of pushing them aside. That drives me.
Yeah. Something about Matt Hodge that people do not know about.
My inner circle knows this very well. Down here, not so much because I don't have a big kitchen, but I'm a fantastic cook. I am a phenomenal cook and a smoker barbecue expertise.
Wow. I'd like to say some of that. So maybe next time I roll for Birmingham.
Absolutely. I will hook you up.
Yeah. I know you reached out on social media. I didn't make that connection the first time through, but I really was impressed with that downtown. And I was moved in that area. So,
Alabama's a fun state to come through.
Yeah. Cool. Speaking of that, I am a fan of blank in Alabama.
I'm a fan of Alabama barbecue. You hear of everybody talks about Memphis and Texas, and man, I think we got some of the best barbecue down here.
Okay. Well, I want to take some.
There's a difference between barbecuing and grilling. You northern people don't know the difference. You guys say come to a barbecue, and there's people throwing burgers and hot dogs on the grill. That's not a barbecue. That's grilling.
Alabama football is Nick Saban the best of all time.
Man, it's say no. Really, he's fantastic. I've been in Alabama. I've got my degrees, my graduate degree from there. But I'm going to tell you guys, this guy on YouTube, because he's going to be someone UAB real soon, Bill Clark. Bill Clark is up and coming, and he is a genius coach. Yes, Nick Saban is Bill Clark.
And he brought that program back, right? That program had gone away.
He did.
Yeah.
He stayed with it when it was killed and developed it. And the year it came back, won the championship for that program. And he's done wonderful things. And I don't hear this too much because he wasn't pretty good at it. But I was on the very first football team at UAB. I was on the club team.
Wow. There you go. See something that people didn't know about. That's tip for dealing with the heat and humidity in Alabama.
Even there it's hot. I mean, you'll hear people talk about you need to drink a hot cup of coffee and you'll acclimate. Oh, it's hot. It's a sweat. I'm a third guy, and that way you can't see it break through. So if you're coming down here wearing layers of clothing, so the sweat doesn't get all the way through.
I'm a believer that we all have a book in us. What's the title of your book?
I pondered on this all day. I really like the idea of, like I told you, my friends find out I'm in education and that I'm a principal. They're like, what, you? I really like that. Yes, me. That's going to be my answer. Yes, me.
I like that with an exclamation point. Matt, you mentioned you're in a year and a half of your, being the high school principal there. What's a short-term goal you have? 3 to 5 months.
I really need to get back in some sort of physical shape. Round isn't what I'm looking for. I had some elbow surgery in April, and I'm just now getting full back into it. I think in 3 to 6 months, I'm going to change the diet a little bit, exercise a little bit, and feel better about myself physically. Good.
I'll give you 2 tips. We'll do it live on air. Number 1, this is the second time we're going to do it this year. We're doing the whole 30, my wife and I, after Valentine's Day. So we'll do it 30 days of that. Check it out, the whole 30. And then Memorial Day and Labor Day, this one's tough. All right? 7 C's. I'll be talking about it coming up. No chips, cookies, cake, chocolate, cola, candy. And the 7th one is complaining about it. You do that one in the summertime. It's amazing what it'll do for your body. It's incredible.
Look.
Yeah, man. I'll be checking up on you in the summer at DC. Matt, long-term goal, 3 to 5 years.
3 to 5 years, I really wanted to, kind of like how I met you. I would like to start going to these leadership conferences to motivate and educate administrators, leaders in the school, teachers. I want to have that positive impact that you have on me. Cassius has had on me, Ryan has had on me. I mean, just phenomenal people where, you're already talking about your job. I love the job, but then they come and talk to you. I'm going to run through a wall. I'm ready to do it again. I want to do that. That's what I want to do in the next 5 years.
Cool. Well, I would tell you, I think you have the energy and the right personality. You look like you can talk to just about anyone. So my advice to you is just to go do it. Right? Find somewhere. Don't worry about any money. Just go start doing it. Start building your presentation. And maybe it's why me, right? Maybe you start with why me or me, So, you want to end us with a quote here, Matt? You want to kick our ending off with
Milton Berle, Uncle Milty. If opportunity doesn't knock, build the door.
I like it. Good for you, Matt. It was a pleasure to have you on. Did you want to give any last shout outs? Did we miss anything?
I think we got everybody, I'm pleased you reached out to me. I'm quite honored, as a matter of fact. So if you ever need anything like this again, for some reason, if it didn't get me, if my face didn't show up, or if the voice didn't come through, I'll do another one, and I'll be ready for it.
We'll see how it sounded. Yeah, we'll get some feedback from people that listened. Certainly we get Zach. He seemed to be tuned in, and Brian, how it sounded. But I'll tell you, Matt, again, people listening and people watching, you came to this conference. Number one, you have great shoes. I saw the shoes, man. You got my attention. But then to the energy, right? You're smiling. You can tell that you dialed in. You said you're all in your school. You were all in that conference, and right away, connected, big smile. And then here we stayed in touch. So you're thanking me. I'm thanking you because you brought energy to session, and you have a willingness to get better. That's a tribute to you and your mindset. So I thank you.
I appreciate you, brother.
Cool, man. This was Matt Hodge. He's on Twitter. Go ahead, Matt. At Eddie Hodge, right?
That's correct. That's my Twitter. I honestly don't even know what my name is. At Hodge, and then on Facebook, Matt Hodge. So
Okay.
it's not real hard.
Yeah. And he's doing great things with that Positive Sign Thursday. Check him out. I am at Andrew21 on Twitter. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's see if we can get the music queued up here. There we go. WSL High School on Facebook. Matt, we're going to start off here on Education Leadership Beyond. I'm grateful to be part of the Education Podcast Network. Check that out. Also, check out the book study coming up here in April. You can register at Sainies. Here it is. Here you can register at sainies.com or sainies.org. And look forward to connecting. Take care, everyone. Thanks, Matt.
Have a great